Hey everyone, today is Thursday, August 12th. Hope everybody's doing well. It's pouring down rain here in Muhammad where I'm at. I'm sure it's raining where you're at too. So very dark today, kind of a change from what we had some great sunshine in the last several days. Yeah, I wanted to kind of, as I mentioned last week, what I'd like to do over the next couple of weeks is kind of look into more of Coupa HR's, equity challenge as it relates to women and the LGBTQ community. And with week one of the challenge, and again, if you participated in this earlier in the summer, kudos to you. Some of what I may say, maybe you've already read or seen, but I think it's important. Again, this is a great kind of topic for us to segue into the fall semester. Week one of the challenge was about heightening awareness of women's issues and challenges, specifically in higher education. And I think, and again, there were several different videos, several different articles that you could read, and talk about how this reflects women specifically. There was one particular article that I read that I thought was really, really interesting. It was about leadership barriers for women in higher education. And again, it was really, really fascinating. They looked at, the kind of a presidential study, and they found that only 30% of the nation's colleges and university presidents are women, which is even just a 4% increase over the last 10 to 15 years. So, they found that, although women now earn the majority of all college degrees and are well represented in entry and mid-level positions in higher ed, they've made very little progress in advancing to chief executive positions, especially in higher education. So, and the article really talked about, how do stereotypes and unconscious bias impact women leaders, and again, this is still a huge problem that we're facing, so a couple of things that go into that. First is the belief that women are still seen as caregivers, and it's one of the oldest stereotypes out there, and it's been holding back women in the workplace for a long time. According to this report that I just mentioned, 32% of women presidents altered their career progression to care for a dependent, whether that's a child, a parent, whoever, compared to less than 15% for men. So women almost double the amount of time caring for a dependent. There was reduced administrative support, especially because in recent years, academic departments at many universities have reduced administrative support roles, with the rationale kind of being that the increase of technology or automation has improved efficiencies and kind of rendered these positions not needed. But a lot of that service work still needs to be done, and so women faculty members and women administrators often find themselves falling in line with these kind of stereotypes, creating tasks and having to do tasks that have been traditionally undertaken by secretaries and administrative assistants. And again, whether this is conscious or not, it creates an unfair workload for women faculty and administrators, because again, this kind of biases still do exist. And I think the third point that the article makes is about service work. Women are assigned and take on more service work than male counterparts, especially in like committees, formal and informal advising, professional service, student life, student organizations, things along those lines. And they found, and this research found that, that women take on these roles much more than men, but these tasks do not necessarily lead to the same kind of career advancement opportunities as like the more higher valued, and rewarded activities, like scholarship and leadership initiatives, So, and kind of by the same token, women are often expected to serve as role models for other women who have a less experience in their fields. And so, like, for example, female students tend to seek out female professors for advice and help, and young women faculty administrators need mentoring of more senior women. But while women will help other women, it takes up more time with little or no professional reward, and that's why it's seen to happen less and less. And conversely, male academics, on average, are not subjected to the same type of pressure, allowing them to spend more time working in areas that are rewarded and helps them with their careers. So again, it's a really, really fascinating study. And again, if anybody is interested, just let me know. I'd be happy to send you some articles and a couple of YouTube videos that talk about this a little bit more in depth. They're very short articles and they're very short videos. So if you're really interested, let me know. I'd be happy to send those to you. So, in order to affect real change, gender diversity diversity should be as important to men on campus as it is to women. And the burden of improving gender diversity should not rest solely on the shoulders of women. So, we need both men and women who can see this discrepancy in higher ed and shift it to becoming more balanced and focused on these lagging issues. So that's kind of a summary of what week one and the challenge was about. And again, if you're interested, just let me know. I'd be happy to send you more information if you're interested in reading about it. So that can kind of conclude week one for our discussion. I'll be back next week to talk about week two and some additional issues. But again, I hope everybody's doing well, and I will talk to you soon.